our school year yesterday. Actually, I have a graduation tonight, so it's almost time, man. Almost time for football again.
It's right around the corner, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
I can't believe you actually take a break from it, though.
No, we really don't, man. But it's just on calendar for the people. But it's football Harlingen's 25/8, man. It's not 24/7. It's one of those things that never stops. At the same time, you have to kind of step back, catch your breath a little bit, and enjoy life a little bit with the family, especially. So.
Yeah, before you check out for a few months from them.
Exactly.
Coach, tell me about your Cardinals that are graduating this year and what they meant to your program.
It's very special. You had a group of kids that grew up playing the game since they were in Little League and stuff, and I heard that story a little bit about that bad boy little group of baseball players. It's one thing about continuity, and these build it at such a young age that it carries over to their junior high school careers and stuff. And that's one of the things that happened with our kids this year. They grew up together and they known each other, and they hated each other at times, but most importantly, they loved each other majority of the time, and it showed everywhere, man, and especially on the field. But that's what made it special, man. That relationship that these guys had, especially my seniors, it carried over to the juniors and the sophomores. So it's just, I guess, part of the tradition that we're adding to it. The culture of caring is really grown at Harlingen High School the last 3 years, and it's made us a special group.
I think part of the, as you talked about, the continuity and the ability to look up is a lot of these guys remember you playing for the Cardinals.
Really, it's more of their parents, man. Believe me, I'm 40 years old, and these kids, they've heard stories and blah 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 and stuff, and of course, a lot of the people that kind of helped them into those memories of when I played, is their parents and stuff. But the most important thing is it's about themselves setting their own legacies and making a statement, making a name for themselves. Because one of the things that I'll always tell my seniors is, hey guys, how do you want to be remembered, man? Because the whole thing about what tradition is at Harlingen is the people that once they leave, what do they leave behind? What kind of stories they're going to leave behind? What kind of leadership, especially, are you guys going to leave behind? They take that into consideration, and that's really what makes us who we are, man.
And that's the important part is what type of legacy you leave behind. One of your guys that's moving on is Randy Bermea. Talk to me about his legacy and what he's leaving for you.
Definitely a very special person. He's a great athlete, man. But if you knew the kid, he's a special person. He's the type of kid that we had a little prom for our life skills classes, which is a group of kids who are kind of a little disabled mentally, physically. And, man, he was out there dancing with those kids and stuff, and he ain't definitely worried about what people say, people think. He's just an overall great kid, and it says a lot about that kid's character when he was doing things like that. But, he's left a real big shoes to fill from the juniors and the sophomores. But, it's one of the things I personally believe it's going to take a long time for those shoes of his to be filled. But he's definitely a kid that has helped us put Harlingen on the map, track-wise, football-wise, and we know that he's going to be a special kid that we're going to have a hard time replacing. But at the same time, we are extremely proud of him, and we wish him nothing but the best of luck wherever he goes.
When we're talking again at the end of May next year, who's going to be the one kid that we're going to talk about like we just did with Randy Bermea? Who's going to be that one senior that's graduating that's leaving a big hole to fill there at Harlingen High?
Wow. Well, Nathan Prado for sure. He's a kid who's another special person. His kid's totally dedicated to his guy. He does a great job in the classroom. He's going to be a 3-year starter. He's a kid that if he was 3 or 4 inches, maybe about 3 inches taller, he'd definitely be a D1 candidate. But he's a special kid that athletic-wise, he's just up there with Randy. Spiritual-wise, the same way. Class-wise, the same way. Community-wise, the same way. And it's just what this program's starting to produce, which just makes it real easy for me. It's producing a lot of special kids, not special athletes, but special kids that can go out there and mingle with anybody, get anything done, and be able at the same time meet any adversity, look it in the eye, and get it done. And that's that Harlingen High School is starting to produce, which matters to me the most. Don't get me wrong. We all know that the communities and you guys, we're all going to get, I guess, evaluated based on our wins and losses and stuff. But to me, it's producing kids that can someday come back and be community leaders and stuff. Because eventually we're going to be old, man. We're going to need these kids to be successful so they can help with, I guess you can say, our Social Security day when we're a lot older and expecting that check to come home every month.
I hope we still have that Social Security when you and I, the 40-year-olds, get to that level.
Yeah, I know, but it's just one.
Got Rick on hold.
Besides the Harlingen High School, we don't just talk. It's basically on X's and O's, but the big picture. And people say, "Well, you had a great year, coach." Come 5 years to see where those seniors, where they're coming back, graduating from college and stuff like that. So, but now definitely, we really don't pinpoint one or two kids, but one or two kids on this next team is going to be Nathan Prado, DeMond Hunter. Those kids are very special kids. He's number 4 in this class, playing for me, year Letterman. I have another kid who's going to be first-year Letterman this year, but he was hurt all year last year. He's number 3 in his class, and like I said, these kids understand the importance of academics as well as athletics. But we're a lot of a selfless team. We don't really emphasize or worry about one or two kids. But don't get me wrong, Randy Bermez, they're hard to come around, but going back to answer your question, it would definitely have to be Nathan Prado.
Head coach Manny Gomez of the Harlingen High School Cardinals joining us here in the Huddle on 840 Fox Sports Radio. Coach, the two terms that you've brought up quite a bit are community and spiritual. Obviously, we know what the spiritual need for a football team is. The community, these guys, I don't know of anybody that's more active in the community than you are.
No, it's one of the main reasons why I do what I do, because there's a lot of kids out there that haven't been exposed to anything, man, and we're hitting it from the bottom up. There's a lot of kids who, I'll give you an example. When we went to go play Abilene, there was 2 kids in my class, they were eating at Luby's, and that's kind of very humbling, well, not just for me, for the rest of the kids. I brought it to their attention how certain guys haven't ate a meal at Luby's. But there's a lot of that. There's if you look at it at any program, if you were to ask any program, any team out there, how many kids come from a single parent home, I guarantee it'd probably be like 60 to 70%. So you have a lot of kids out there that don't have that father figure. So indirectly, that's what our responsibility is as head coaches, assistant coaches, individual coaches. That's what our responsibility is, to help mold these kids become men. But that's easier said than done, because everybody's got a different definition of what that means. And our definition is basically to manning up to your responsibilities and living up to that model that we have at Harlingen High School, Cardinal Spirit Never Dies. What does that mean? Is work ethic. Being able to work hard, but for how long and for how far is what we emphasize to our kids, and make them understand that that's what it's going to take to be successful out there in the real world, in college or at dorm. And that's why I think it's really helped us a ton in our football team, because we really emphasize that as a program, as a staff. We really emphasize that to our kids, and because the football part is the easy part. That's no joke. We know we're going to be physical. We know we're going to outwork. We're going to outplay people on Friday night. It's all the other stuff, like right now in the summertime. What kind of habits did you instill in your kids? Because that's what's going to carry them over to themselves, getting their butts out of bed and going to work out and doing their thing. Because again, that's what we all coaches out there kind of keep our fingers crossed. Is, what kind of kids are we going to see this summer? Because when you see them, you don't want to develop great habits all of a sudden for 2 months. You don't see them in the weight room. You don't see them out there running and stuff. Because again, that's what makes a great team, and the summertime. So, but yeah, community-wise, we emphasize that a ton, and really I put a lot of emphasis on that throughout the spring.
And they're the community that gives back to you and supports you. And when you go play teams in San Antonio and you go play elsewhere, they're the ones that rally behind you and follow you all the way up.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. I just wish we wouldn't have filled up Javelina Stadium too damn freaking fast, man. Because when Madison walked in, excuse my language, house, really motivated those guys. Talking to Coach at the clinic, he's like, man, our kids, wow, they've never been to that, and they really fired him up. And I was like, Coach, that happens again, I'm gonna tell them not to open the doors till 7:00.
That's
yeah. But it was difficult, man. That having a conversation. Coach Coker yesterday, he was in town in Harlingen, and I had an opportunity to visit with him and talking about that game. And it's like, yeah, Coach, it still hurts, man, because we had a chance to win that game with 4 turnovers. I can see playing a football game and you get beat, 40-0. It's like, oh well, they're better than us. But I didn't feel that. And to this day, but you give credit to Madison. But having an opportunity to win a football game with 4 turnovers at any level says a lot about them. So, but anyway, it's in the past, and we're ready to rock and roll come August the 6th, man. So we're definitely excited.
We'll let you stop reliving that one. Coach, one last question for you. If there was a troublemaker that you could partake dinner with, who would that biggest troublemaker be?
Possibly Tony Farina. That guy's big. Nah, there's all those out there, man, and I used to be one of them, believe me, when I was a lot younger, it's one of those things that, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But, there's a lot of other times we really don't know behind the scenes what's going on in that young man's life or what. But, to me, I think I can roll with anybody, because I can roll with the Joneses, I can roll with the Gonzaleses, But to me, troublemakers are sometimes some of my best football players, because really what they're doing is just trying to get somebody's attention. Hey, look, hey, man, I need some help. And believe it or not, that's sometimes what I do. I'll go into the what we call on-school suspension, and I ask what kind of kids are in there. And if they're big kids, boy, I go there, hey, man, look, you need to be using some of the anger and stuff in this weight room with us and stuff. And you just turn them around and let them know that they become some of the best football players I've ever had. But other than that, I try to stay out of the limelight. I try to stay out of the conversations with what's going on, negative aspect, because again, and what we do and what we're planning on doing, we got to make sure that we're setting the tone for our kids and also being almost like a role model in this community. So, I really wouldn't want to go out and have dinner with any knuckleheads and stuff, and then all of a sudden they bring some negative attention to our program. But I don't know that question, but that's basically kind of some of the things that the way I look at it when it comes to things like that.
Well, I try to be very inconspicuous when I'm having some beverages, so you and I can hang. We can roll.
No, without a doubt, it is what it is. One of the things I've been sharing with some of my friends in this community is like, I need and I want and I wish for Harlingen South to become successful. They got a great team coming up, but of course it's just on paper, for the simple reason of taking some of the pressures off of the Harlingen Cardinals, because it's just like all eyes are on us. And when you can have another team in the community be successful, it can alleviate some of that. But it's just some crazy that you hear out there. And my wife tells me, so you know what I heard, man, that what Manny wants, Manny gets in Harlingen, and that's nonsense, man. Because I've never asked anybody for nothing, man. Everything that I've gotten, I worked for. But there's some people from across the town that they believe that, But it is what it is. But I don't lose sleep over it. But I want that team and our community the best. I actually live on this side of the community and stuff, and I wish them nothing but the best for many reasons. But one of the main reasons is to kind of help, just take some of that pressure off of us, and especially the eyes in the community. But it's all good.
How hard was it to convince you to let your football team do that the Kia commercial?
It wasn't hard at all, man. Because to me, it's all about exposing the kids. That's what we do, or at least that's what I emphasize at Harlingen. Because a lot of these kids don't get exposed to things like that, and it makes it more enjoyable, more memorable, and the way I say they deserve that, they deserve that little limelight and stuff for the simple reason of all their hard work. Because if I don't do it, not too many people out there are going to be willing to help these kids get exposed to with a simple commercial like that, or exposed to the big time, and maybe somebody can get offer them a scholarship or see them play or see their character on TV or something like that. And you know what? Maybe we can give this kid an opportunity, because nobody down from up north wants to come down and recruit kids down here for the simple reason of it's freaking way too far.